Your love is too deep to navigate, and it's too high to climb, but still it's available time after time, after time, after time, after time. Your love lifted me. It's too deep to navigate, it's too high to climb, but still it's available time after time, after time, after time, after time. Can I get a witness? Can I get to witness? Listen, everywhere I look, your love is all around. Everywhere I look, your love is all around. And you say,
everywhere I look, your love is all around. Everywhere I look, your love is all around.
Come on. Everywhere I look, your love is all around.
Everywhere I look, your love is
one more time, say all around. Yeah. Everywhere I look, yeah.
your love is all around.
All around. Oh. Everywhere I look,
Your love is all around.
say yeah. All around. Oh. Yeah.
Nigeria precisely. So wherever you're watching us from, we'd like to say good evening and welcome to another mind-blowing, captivating, stunning, intriguing, yes, of course, very enlightening, of course, very expository program here. And you know how we usually get to do it is an interactive session where you get to become a part of the program by sending in your messages, questions, and contributions. This is the Great Evangelism World Crusade Youth Interactive Section. And of course, today we'll be looking at the part 2 of, it's like a continuation of what we had the last episode. And it is called Navigating the Future. It's Future Scope. Future Scope. This is the topic for today, and it's called Navigating the Future. Well, I'll let you know who our guest for today is just a few minutes from now. Well, you will get to find out if we actually have the same guest that we've all been used to, or we have a different guest today. Well, if you're so curious, well, then you have to stay glued to the program. I'd like to say welcome, and of course, we have a lot of questions the last time that we couldn't take, which we would treat most of them, or as much as we can take today. But you don't want to miss this program. I'm sure this is something that will keep you glued from the very beginning till the end. Let's go on a short break. My name is Itode Aaron. Welcome to the GAWC Live Interactive Session virtual program. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back from that short break. And of course, I have not changed. I'm still Itode Aaron. And this is the GAWC Youth Virtual Program Live Interactive Section. And of course, I told you all that we would be letting you know when we come back from the break who our guest for today is. If our guest has changed, well, ladies and gentlemen, brethren, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, join me. Well, of course, you can have a standing ovation wherever you are if you choose, a round of applause wherever you are if you choose. And let's make welcome our dear father, who has been a part of the program, who, from the very inception of the program, who has patiently waited for us, even in times when we offend him and he should spank us like a father should, but of course, he tampers justice with mercy. Well, let's make welcome our dear father, the International Director of our dear ministry, Great Evangelism World Crusade, Pastor Isaac Olori. Welcome, Daddy, to the program.
Thank you.
Like I usually say, sometimes I just get a little bit down. So we have Daddy here, who will, of course, be doing justice to the topic as always, Future Scope, facing and navigating the future.
Again.
Welcome.
And welcome my viewers as we continue on our discussion on Future Scope. In part one of the discussion, we dwelt on the spiritual preparation for the future. We did say that we'll divide the discussion into two parts. So we'll handle the first part, which was basic people, particularly that is our focus in this program. Your future is critical. It's critical, particularly for a young man, a young woman, because what you do today, you may be paying the price or reaping the reward in the future. So that's why it's so critical, and we know that the foundation for any future has to be based on the spiritual, our relationship with God, and the foundation we lay for our spiritual lives. Because the first thing about our future is that we must identify our purpose. And identifying our purpose cannot be complete without the spiritual input. Because even God, as we said in our last edition, that God is interested in our future. We saw it in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. He said, I know the thought that I have towards you, thought of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. So we laid that foundation. We looked at some of the disciplines, spiritual disciplines we need that will enable us be able to walk into a future getting direction from God. We talked about some of the spiritual disciplines like prayer, meditation, studying the Word of God, worship, and so on. That was in the first edition. For this second part, we are going to be looking more on the physical and social preparation, the physical things we need to do, apart from praying, reading our Bible, worship, and commitment to God. What are some other things we need to do? So in this second part, we are going to be looking at those disciplines and social skills we need to succeed, whether it be in our career, whether it be in our business, academics, even ministry. You want to be in ministry as a Christian. When I talk about ministry, particularly areas of service in God's house, there are those disciplines and social skills that you need to develop that will enable you to succeed. And I will be emphasizing on some of them as we go on. Some of the disciplines include, but they are not limited. First of all is delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. There is a saying that's, that work before pleasure. For young people, there is that temptation of pleasure, that temptation to enjoy my life, that temptation to, everything is about the now, the things I will get now, the things I will enjoy now. And so we know that life is about sowing and what? Reaping. And sowing and reaping is telling you about delayed gratification. There are things you will sow now, it will take months, and some even years before you reap it. So for a young person, you must have this attitude of delayed gratification. You don't just consume everything you get. You are not carried away by the pleasure of now. Fashions will come and go. The latest phones will come and go. So you should always think, when things come into your hands, you must always look towards the future. How do I invest in the future? So that takes us to an investment culture or an investment mindset. There are people who were in school and they started investing. I know of somebody that started building up his business while in the school. Today he has a big, an estate management firm, but he started it in school. So we must have an investment culture. It may be small. So this helps you to curb impulsiveness in your spending and living. Some people are very impulsive. They buy everything, with adverts and things like that. They are so attractive. So everything they see that is attractive, they want to get it. So you are impulsive. You don't plan your spending. You don't do budgeting to know whether can I afford it? Do I really need this? So we end up buying things we don't need and spending the money that we don't have. Some even live on credit. They bring things to you and say, don't worry, you can pay later. But that is your future. You are engaging your future. Just like some of us are lamenting concerning this nation, the level of borrowing, because it's our future generation that will pay these debts. So that means we are mortgaging the future. So you must have an investment mindset, and it will help for the future is continuous learning and self-development. If you want to be relevant in the future, you must know that learning does not end. Self-development does not end. You must, as long as life lives, you keep learning, because new things will keep coming. If not, you become obsolete. From the moment you stop learning, you become obsolete. Even the things you have learned, you forget them. And so some of us think, oh, we just finished school, we have certificates. That's not the end of learning. So if you want to engage your future, if you want to invest into your future, you must always have a future, then you must be consistent. There are some of us, today you are here, by the next moment you are drifting to this point, or you are thinking, you are so unsettled, and you think that, oh, this is what is working. People need consistency combined with patience and perseverance to press on. There are some businesses that started very slowly, but gradually they picked up, and you see them today, you say, you want to jump into it. Before you know, oh, it's not working, you move into another thing. So there has to be consistency, there has to be patience, there has to be, perseverance. Another critical issue is that of goal setting and planning. You must live with a goal, setting goals, plan for your life. I'm going to talk a little more on that, later as we go on. I want to spend some more time talking on goal setting, soft skills. Now, what are soft skills? Soft skills are those skills that enable you to fit in at a workplace. It enables you to fit in a particular, being, your personality, your personality, you're being personality driven. So it's not just about the paper qualification. So many people have the same qualification, possibly the same, area of specialization, but they don't thrive in the workplace. What they are lacking is soft skill. So if you want to add value to yourself, then outside the education you have acquired in a formal institution, you need soft skills. So soft skills relate to how you work. It involves it includes your interpersonal or people skills. There are people who they can't work with others. They don't know how to work with others. They don't know how to relate. Even in leadership, those challenges also occur. And so it involves your interpersonal skills, it involves your communication skill, your listening skill, your time management and empathy. We are going to talk a little more about some of these things. Soft skills influence the employer's decision either to keep or sack the person or promote an employee. When they want to, sometimes they want to do redundancy or reduce the number of staff. There are some certain things they look beyond the certificate now. And those are some of them mostly are soft skills, because it determines how much productive you will become. Now, what's the difference between soft skill and hard skill? I've told you about soft skills. Hard skill are those teachable and measurable skill, abilities. Like you go to school, they can measure the things you learn in one way or the other through exams and tests and the rest of them. At the end of the day, they give you a certificate. That is a hard skill. So, somebody can learn how to write, read, maths, and computer programming, and the rest of them. All of them are hard skills. But soft skills are those traits that make you a good employee. It deals with your etiquette, your mannerism. So those are soft skills. So it focuses on emotional intelligence and behavior. That is talking about your capability to manage control your emotions, and also have the ability to control and manage the emotion of others. Because if you can't manage your emotions, you cannot be in a position to manage the emotion of others. So you now find people who can work together, who can fit in. And what are some of the features? I'll just look at 5 features of emotional intelligence. The first one is self-awareness. You really understand who you are. You have a self-awareness. You know yourself. So you know your limits. You know how you can work with people. The second one is empathy. You are able to put yourself in other people's shoe. You put yourself in other people's position. You can appreciate what they are going through. So you have that sense of empathy. So it helps you to be able to know how to tolerate people and be able to be supportive to people. Then another feature of emotional intelligence is motivation. You have that capacity to motivate yourself. You don't allow things, people can face the same situation while others are going through some level of depression. You are motivated, you are challenged by the situation. You know you can push on. Sometimes people are even depressed by the challenge of work. But you are motivated, you see it as a challenge, and then you face it. By the time you surmount it, you are promoted. That is the capacity for motivation. It's also self-regulation. That is another feature of emotional intelligence. You know how you can discipline yourself. You can regulate yourself. You don't allow situations to, determine your reactions and the extent you go. Then you now have the social skills, which we are still going to mention some of them as we go on. What are the benefits of emotional intelligence? One of them is increased leadership ability. Those who make success in leadership, managing others, because those are some of the things that will help you to climb the ladder in the workplace, is that you have emotional intelligence. So it increases your leadership ability. It gives you an increased team performance. You can work with others. You can have a team spirit. So no matter how difficult they are, you can just cope and work with them. Then there is also improved decision making. It helps you to be better in taking decisions because you consider others. You don't look at several perspectives before you take your decision. There is also decreased occupational stress because you are not easily emotionally, distressed. So there is a decrease of occupational stress, reduced staff turnover. There are people that change jobs, and then if you are, a CEO and this thing, it will reduce your staff turnover because you are more tolerant, you are more, appreciative of people's situations. It also increases personal well-being. You feel good when you are at the edge, when you are always, nagging and quarreling with people. You also pay the price. So you have an increased personal well-being. Other aspects of soft skill that we need to learn is leadership skills. Leadership is, people learn. There are those characteristics of leadership that we need to know. So teamwork. Some people they know how to work alone. They can't work with others, but we must have a team spirit. That is another, soft skills. Problem-solving skills. You have that ability to see problems and solve them. Work ethics. You'll understand the work ethics. You will fit yourself into that work ethics. Then flexibility and adaptability. You must not be rigid. There are times to be firm. There are times also to be flexible. That's why they talk about the carrot approach. So you must be flexible and adaptable to situations, because sometimes two situations may not be the same, two people may not be the same, but because of flexibility, you can fit in. Responsibility, the sense of responsibility. You must take responsibility of whatever is put in your hands. There are people who are always, every time is excuses. And no person succeeds in a workplace when you are always giving excuses. You find reasons to give excuse. You must look, there are people who say what they want is not excuse, they want result. So responsibility makes you that you seek for a result. And by the time you have that mindset, your mind opens, ideas come on how to solve problems. Then self-motivation is another, self-skill, soft skill that we need. You must be self-motivated. Get to a point that the environment will be harsh and difficult. So whatever you think, even some people you see them, maybe they are working in places where they earn so much. That is also how the challenge of the place where they are working, the demands are. And so self-motivation helps you to push through. Decisiveness is another soft skill. You must be decisive, not, just fluid. Anything can go. No, you must be decisive. Ability to work under pressure and also time management. Working within the given time is important. Those are parts of soft skill. Then the other ones are negotiation and conflict resolution. Because when you are you must have ability for negotiation and conflict resolution. Diplomacy, particularly when you get to leadership position. Those are some of the things that place people in leadership, because they have the ability to manage conflicts, they have the ability to resolve, and then it doesn't blow out into full crisis. So negotiation and conflict resolution ability is important. Then your personality is critical. When we talk about personality, it's those set of distinctive traits and characteristics that distinguishes one individual from another. You must always have that right kind of personality. Know the kind of personalities. Sometimes we may have some weaknesses and strengths. Then you know how to work on your weaknesses and you know how to strengthen your strengths. So personality. Then look at attitudes. Attitude makes the difference. Our attitude to life, our attitude to relationship, our attitude to work, it makes a lot of difference. Beyond your paper qualification, the hard skill, your attitude makes a lot of difference. So these are some of the soft skills. They are not exhaustive, but these things will position you for the future. It will make you become people. There are people who are likable. There are people that they mix with people, they are attractive. It makes your life attractive. It's like you are putting some ornaments into your inner life. Beyond how we dress outside, it is your inner life that really attracts and keeps people. These things will work in relationship. It will work in the workplace. It will even work in your, as a Christian, you are meant to be a light to the world. You are meant to showcase your life unto others. So these things are the things that will help you to move on in fulfilling your goal and your purpose in life. Then I want to dwell in the next time I have on the aspect of goals and goal setting. Because if we are talking about the future, then you must have a goal. There must be something that is driving you. That is something you are looking ahead in the future. So you can't talk about the future when you have no goals. So they are the first steps when planning for the future. And they play a fundamental role in the development of skills and the various facets of life. So they help you because when you have a goal, it now enables you to develop the prerequisite skills that will enable you to achieve those goals. So from whether it is in relationship, and everything in between, then goal is the key. Understanding the importance of goal and the techniques involved in setting goals, achievable goals, paves the way for success. Pablo Picasso said something. He said, our goal can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. So you can now see there's a combination there. You have the goal, you have plan. You say our goals can only be reached. So when we think of goal, then it leads us to a plan, which is now the vehicle. And then we must believe in that goal, and then we must pursue it vigorously. Now, I will look at a few things about goal setting. Goal setting is a powerful motivator, the value of which has been, recognized in abundance in a lot of research. Goals are the object or aim of an action. So, why am I doing this? What is my objective? What do I want to achieve? That is your goal. Now, goal set objective. What do I want to live for? Some people go to school and even read a course, but they don't have an objective. They don't have a goal. They don't have, what do I want to achieve in life? Is it just because that is the in thing? Oh, it will give me a lot of money. No, money is not the first thing. Get frustrated along the line. So goal, is talking about the objective or aim of why you are doing what you are doing. Why goal setting is the process by which I can achieve the goals I have set for myself. So every person's life depends on the process of choosing goals to pursue. So you must choose a goal to pursue in life because it's like the driving force of your life. Because any man without a goal is like a car without engine. That car will not move anywhere. It will just be parked in a place. So if you remain passive, you are not going to thrive as a human being. So passive, anything can go, you can't thrive, you can't excel. You can't excel, you are not pursuing something, there is nothing driving you. So goal setting theory is based on the premise that continuous goal affect action and that conscious human behavior is purposeful and regulated by individual goals. So it is the goal setting that affects your actions, and then your human behavior is regulated by your purposeful, the goals you have set for yourself. So simply put, we must decide what is beneficial to our own welfare and then set goals to achieve those things. Now, there are key principles of goal setting, about 5 of them. The first thing is that commitment. There must be commitment. That means there has to be an attachment to your goal. There is something that, a passion, something that attaches you. There is an attachment. So it's not just, I want to be this, and you have no attachment to it. There is a passion. There is something inside you. You have a commitment to your goal. The second principle of successful goal setting is clarity, simplicity of goal. As much as possible, your goal should be clarified. It should be simplified. A goal that is not understood cannot be achieved. Sometimes some big goals are vague. If somebody asks you, for example, what is your spiritual goal? You say to glorify God. It's vague. How do you know when you have glorified God? How do you know? What is the process? So you must have, specific or goals that are clear. Then challenge. Every goal must have some degree of goals difficulty. It's just like if you are involved in you want to do a high jump. If the thing is so low, there is no with ease. So it does not bring the best out of you. But the higher and your potentials will begin to come out. So the challenge, every goal must have a challenge. It must move you from one level to the other. Something to some extent is difficult. There is no cheap things that gives good results. No cheap things. Even those who go into vices, it's costly. Those who go into the wrong path. But that's not what I'm advocating for you. They still pay a price for it. Complexity, degrees of goals demand. So yes, there has to be some level of complexity so that you are able to know that from one level to the other. So it's not just a straightforward walkover. Then every goal must have the presence of progress reporting, feedback. Feedback is another principle of successful goal setting. There must be a means of feedback. How do I know how I'm faring? How do I know whether I'm making progress? That's why in system there are reporting. we must also, in our own goal, there has to be a way of giving myself a feedback to see whether I'm making progress. Now, it doesn't matter even if I fail. In fact, the failure is a motivator for somebody who wants to achieve a goal. Is to tell you that what you are using as your, the kind of methods you have used or strategy, they are not working. There is a change of plan of action. So those has to be, those 5 keys are important. Now, how and why goal setting works. So let's know how does goal setting work. When goal setting is done correctly, it's effective and often critical to success. So goals give us direction by focusing attention on the goal relevant behavior and away from the irrelevant task. So it directs you. So what you do must now become relevant to your goal. The way you live, your behavior will become, there is something driving you. If you look at a sportsman, because of the goal to win a prize, it affects their daily routine, their behavior, their choices, even the food they eat, the discipline themselves, the exercise, the association. Some of them, they may decide not to take alcohol, not just because of their faith, but because of their work, their goal. So it affects your behavior, and it enables you to take away the irrelevant things out of your life. So goal setting works three basic prepositions. One, goals energize performance through the motivation to expend the required effort in line with the difficulty of the task. So it energizes your performance and your through motivation, so that you put your energy in line with moving the task. Number 2, goals motivate people to persist in activities over time. So they persist, they persevere, they don't just give up, because I want to achieve a goal. Failure is out of the way. They persevere. Then number 3, goals direct people's attention to relevant behaviors, like we have said, and away from behaviors which are irrelevant or detrimental to the achievement of the task. There are some skills we need if we want to have successful goal setting. There are some skills, they are essential skills that will help you to have successful goal setting and achievement. The one is planning. There's an old adage that says, fail to plan, plan to fail. So planning is 2. Number 2, self-motivation, we have already said that. Time management, flexibility, self-regulation, commitment, and focus. So all these are the keys to goal setting. Then there's also, I will just summarize by looking at, so that we'll have time for questions. That's what they talk about SMART in goal setting. It's an acronym called SMART. S is for goals must be specific. We have talked about that. M is it must be measurable, so that I will know where am I now compared to my goal. So it must be measurable. A is must be achievable and attainable. So it cannot be vague. It should not be something abstract. It must be achievable. It must be attainable. R is relevant. That thing must be relevant to what you want to be, what you want to achieve. So you are not just chasing or beating the air. And then time, T is time specific. Every goal must have a timeline. There are short-term goals, maybe it might be weeks, or then there are long-term goals that may take months and years. So it must be time specific. So these are some of the things about goal setting. I'm going to pause here so that we can be able to use some more time to answer some of your questions. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Daddy. Well, for a very long time, I just felt like we should go on and on and on. You know, one of the things, out of the so many things I picked here, one of the things I learned here was, goal achievement has to go with the vehicle of a plan. So for you to attain your goals, you need to have a plan. Like they usually also say that he who has failed to plan has planned to fail.
Okay.
Well, it's been quite an interesting one, and I'm sure that a lot of us besides me have learned. I've just shared with you one of the things that I have learned out of so many things that I picked from Daddy's message today. Well, you can also share with us what you have learned, and of course, you can actually send in your questions as well. Let us know. Well, the number to send in your questions, don't forget SMS and WhatsApp only. No calls, just SMS and WhatsApp only. The number to send in your questions and your contributions. And of course, what you've learned from today's message is 0706 746 1729. 0706 746 61729. I'll take that one more time. 0706 746 61729. Send in your contributions and your questions and let's know. Well, we have a few questions here, Daddy, and we'd like to look at them. And I'm starting with this one that says, sometimes we make good plans, yet everything goes south. How can we manage disappointments? Sometimes maybe we've mapped out a perfect plan on achieving this goal, but it just turns out that while we are on the process, you know, certain things go contrary to our expectations, and we feel disappointed. And you know that sometimes disappointment can bring discouragement, you know, and discouragement can even bring depression. Because, so how do we manage it when we get to this stage?
Okay. Now, success is not a smooth road.
Okay.
It's not a straight way. For those who have achieved today, sometimes even inventions, they will tell you how many times they failed. They kept trying, they kept trying, they kept trying. So first of all, that's why your goal must be clear. You must be convinced in what you want to do. So when the obstacles come, that's why we have already told you some of the discipline you must have. Part of it is patience and perseverance. Patience and perseverance. We were told of, I think, Abraham Lincoln, one of the popular American presidents. They went into politics and tried different levels of position and failed. If we take our own scenario, you know, let's say he contested for local government election, he failed. He tried House of Assembly, he failed. He tried governorship, he failed. He went up to Senate, he failed. He went up to presidency and he won. I think they told you about 6 failures before he succeeded. It means that he's a man who is convinced in what he wants to do. So if you are easily somebody who gives up, then it means that that goal is not challenging enough, because there must be a challenge. That failure is only telling you that there is something you have not done well. The strategy, you have not put in your best. Some people try, that's why even in life, if sports is a popular listing, sometimes if it's high jump or whatever, they give you about 3 options. You fail once, they give you another one before you are knocked off. They don't knock you off in first trial. So we don't knock ourselves off in first trial. So don't get depressed. That's why, you know, when we looked at emotional intelligence, we talked about you have that emotional balance that will enable you to keep pushing. Do you believe in yourself? That's why you say you must believe in what. If you believe in it, then it will work. It's only a matter of time.
Okay, you just said it from Daddy, and of course you used a very perfect example, Abraham Lincoln. In fact, if we even want to come down to Nigeria here,
yes,
as much as a lot of us might not actually believe in the personality, but if we come down to Nigeria here, even the president of our country today had attempted to be president a few times, I think over 3 times in the past. Yeah. But today he's the president of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if so many people might not agree so much with the governance. All right, Daddy, we have another question here that says, financial management is a major challenge for the youths. I think you said something closer when you talk about youth trying to enjoy so much. And
yes,
all that.
yes.
What is the right way to go about managing our finances?
Okay. Now, that is very critical for the youths. Yes. Some of us were in school, maybe there's somebody, you know, sponsoring you, even if it's your parents. discipline is important. You should ask yourself, because by the time you get your certificate and I'm working, the kind of lifestyle I have developed for myself, can I sustain it? That's why you need discipline. Even when you are getting money, that's when you should learn how to save. That's when that culture of saving, that culture of investing, there are things you can do as a student that will give you money. So sometimes we want to, oh, I want to do something, I'm looking for so much capital. If you cannot manage, they used to say, compose, just for fun and socializing. You are wasting resources. So these things can be invested. You'll begin to see yourself how I can regulate my spending and then invest. That culture will help you later in life. So that before you know, some people can finish school or use service, they have a little savings that they want to use to start something small. It may be selling a recharge card, something, just something to start with.
All right, well, we heard it from Daddy. All right, Daddy, I think we have questions that are coming in. Well, we have this one that says, in the pursuit for career, which is most important, passion or financial benefits? In the pursuit for career, which is most important? Is it the passion for that career or the financial benefits that will come from the career, considering the economic situation of the country?
Okay. Now, the answer is clear. The passion. People have made money out of passion. So you find double fulfillment. First of all, you get fulfilled, and two, you now get the resources. If you look at artists, some, creative artists, they have become prominent and earn money. But looking at it ordinarily, artists, what is it, But they had a passion. They kept investing in it. Even, simple, as much as simple of fashion design. There are some graduates who have finished school and entered into fashion design. Over time, because it is somebody who is sewing for the celebrities. There are people who are sewing for governors. Even there are governors have their baba, their hairstylists, if you are women. So that means if you position yourself, that is what we call cooking and all the rest of them. So in life, the first thing is passion, because passion will produce fulfillment. The energy will come. But if you are just pursuing money, at some point you get frustrated. You will get the money, but you get frustrated. You don't find fulfillment.
Okay, thank you so much, Daddy. Well, just so that we can take quite a lot of the questions that we have, we'll just keep running through them. And I hope that we pay attention to the answers that Daddy is giving. Okay, we have this one that says, Daddy, someone listening to you talk about prayer will feel that prayer answers everything, while they forget the place of attitude, diligence, and rapport, etc.
Okay, that's why I told you, talking about features, devoting a whole section dealing on our own social
yeah.
and soft skills. Because referring to God, you can do what? Nothing. There are points in your life you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
God has even taught you how to relate with others. Part of the scripture is that you should know how to relate with others. Okay. So if you fail to put it into action and they sack you in your job place, you cannot call it. Prayer will not answer it.
Does this have any connectivity with the scripture that says faith without work?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
The works is part of the work. Like now you learn the skill.
Yes.
Because for you to be promoted, prayer only cannot promote you.
Yeah.
The skill should be there. It should not just be that, oh, because they look at your performance, they see that this person is fit.
Yeah.
Sometimes they even find it difficult to suppress you. Why did Daniel succeed in several governments? It was not just because of his spiritual life alone. His social skill. They had nothing. in relationship to his job, his punctuality, his attitude. The Bible says they had nothing to pinpoint. They said the only way you can catch him is to make a law against his relationship with God. Let him not pray. In the other area, they could not. It was punctual to work. Some Christians are not punctual to work. Some people cannot deliver on target. They are lazy.
Yeah.
Prayer can't cover that.
Okay. Well, we're actually learning a lot today, and I'm sure that we're actually taking notes of most of the things that we're learning. Now, Daddy, we have this other question that says, well, before we continue, do not forget that you can send in your questions, contributions, and of course, tell us what you've learned from today's message. And just text messages and WhatsApp message only to the number 070-674-61729. 070-674-61729. Okay, Daddy, we have this one that says, is there a standard for success? Must everybody be super rich or have many other things the society sees as success? You know, in this part of our society, like I was actually, you know, I actually had this personal revelation I was sharing with some people lately. A lot of people in this part of the world where we live in see a successful person as someone who has a number of cars and has built a mansion. You know, so this is related to this question. This person is asking, is there a standard of success? Must everybody be super rich or have many other things the society sees as success? Now, Daddy, before you answer this, Daddy, if you compare this to living outside this country, you realize that a lot of the white people are not really interested in some of the things that we are crazy about here.
Yeah.
They just want an average life, let them have food, shelter over the, you know. So is it really, is it out of place if you're a Nigerian and you're not craving, let me be Nigerian now, let me be specific, and you're not craving to have fleet of cars worth millions of naira, and then you're not craving to live in a mansion or maybe two-story duplex and all that. So this is what this person is asking. Is there a standard for success?
All right. If I say the standard for success, I will say two things. One, your purpose in life.
Okay.
Number two, your goal.
Okay.
Two of them are related because your purpose is meant to direct what your goal should become.
Okay.
Because, you know, it is about the goal now measures your success. Because if my goal is to achieve so and so, then if I've achieved it, then that is success.
True.
So success is not based by comparison.
Okay.
Life is not about competition. Because life is about what God has made you to be. So, yes, we are living in a society that has a flawed value system. So what they think about is all these acquisitions, but they have not succeeded. They will leave that so is to discover, that is to become that. No. So that is where the passion, I went to school, I read engineering with some other people in my class, but today I'm ministering, and I'm very happy with it. So I may not have as much, maybe as some of them have. One of my colleagues was a commissioner at a time. Now, but it doesn't matter. I fulfill, and I think one of the listings we talked about contentment. Because when you are towards your goal, there is a sense of contentment. Money should not be your drive. To get this and get this should not be your drive. Purpose. How much am I fulfilling purpose? Affecting, I just amassing. Those people are not satisfied. That's why they can have their whole yard filled with cars, wasting, because you can drive only one car at a time. If you have a mansion of 20 rooms, you can only sleep in one room and in one bed space at a time. If you say you want to make sure you utilize all of them, then you'll be in trouble.
Okay, that's true, Daddy. Okay, thank you so much, Daddy. All right, moving forward, we're actually coming to a close of today's program, but we'll just round up and take some of the questions that we have. This one says, Daddy, during the 2020 Youth Summit, you talked about the setting up of the Professionals Fellowship. How soon do we expect that?
Yeah, I said I was going to have a professionals forum.
Okay.
Yeah. It is in that forum, if you want to set up a fellowship, that will be up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's in my itinerary for the year, and then very soon we'll let you know.
Okay. All right. This one says, good evening, Daddy. The church is a ground with different groups of people. Can there be a veritable marketing platform from this large population? The church is a ground with different groups of people. Can there be a veritable marketing platform from this large population?
Yeah. I think it's still tied to the professional forum.
Yes.
So when we are professionals, we come together. Parts of the things which, apart from identifying our purpose, because why am I, as a Christian, different from any other person? Why am I about using it for marketing and all that? There must be some form of database. So that if I know I want to do this, there is so and so that can do, that's involved in it. So it's something where, yes, it can be used. But that's why we want young people, because I can't do everything.
Of course.
I am in my own is to preach and pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see in Acts chapter 6, they said select people to do all this. I want young people who can come with ideas in some of these things. So, but we'll have the professional forum, we'll raise some of these issues, there will be some interaction, then some of these details can be worked out.
Okay. All right, we have here the last but not the least. I think Daddy has said a lot about this, but maybe he might just use it to round off as he throws more light on it. Now this question says, good day, Daddy. My question, how can someone identify his or her specific goal or career in life? How will you be able to identify your specific goal or career? How do you know your gift? How do you know this is the area that I think my purpose is? I guess this is what this person is trying to ask.
Okay. There are a few things I will say for now because of our time, because it's another teaching of his own to be able to. Your heart is important. Your passion. What, why am I into ministry? There is a passion inside me. I didn't just come into ministry because I had nothing else to do. I have always had a drive inside from the time I finished school. So even when I was looking for jobs, I was looking for something that would come. The other one was like something to sustain me do ministry. So your heart, what is your heart going for? Then what is your passion? There are some things that when you want to do it, you do it with just ease. You don't struggle. That is your gift. While others will struggle to do it, you don't struggle. Sometimes I can, in 5 minutes, get a teaching in 5 minutes. And I deliver, you would think I had spent days and hours to prepare. Because I have a calling, a gift into that area. So those things make you know where you are heading to, what your calling is. That's why some of us here, you went to school, you read one thing or the other. Today has even taught us that that is just a preparation. I've seen some people who read petroleum engineering, they ended up becoming chartered accountants.
True.
So, yeah, so it's just a starting point. So, but your heart, your passion, and then there are other things which maybe in our next episode we may look into more details of how I can know, my purpose or my gift.
Okay. Oh, well, before Daddy prays, Daddy, I would like to ask, do you have any other last words before we come to prayer? Do you have any other message generally for our viewers?
All right, just to sum up part of our discussion, I told you that what you are today is a reflection of what you did yesterday. And what you will be tomorrow is determined by today. So if you want to succeed tomorrow, you must start working on yourself spiritually and physically.
Okay.
And above in Romans chapter 9 verse 18, it says, so then it is not him that willeth, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows what? Mercy. As much as it is important for us to plan, we must always know that God is the foundation. If I don't have a relationship with him, there are issues in life I cannot surmount. And Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, yes, you have your ways, you have your plans, you have your goal. Acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Those are the keys I will give you, plus some of the things we have already discussed. I'm going to pray for you. The future as a nation and the world is looking very gloomy. But when you key into God, he has a purpose. He knows that you are going to be in a time like this, and he's able to make a way for you. So we must be strong in our spirit. We must be positive. We must move by faith. And I trust that you will have a testimony. Challenges bring out the best in us. I want to pray with you. Father, I want to thank you for the opportunities to share some of these basic truths to guide particularly our young people. The future is ahead. You know the future. I pray today that those who are already losing track of the future, those who are driven by situations and the time and are not focused, I pray by the power of your Spirit that this discussion will inspire them to begin to think and plan for their future, to begin to build a solid foundation on which their future will rest. As they do, may you give them direction.
Amen.
As they do, may you give them the breakthrough they need.
Amen.
May you open doors. You say you will
Amen.
bless the works of our hands.
Amen.
May it be their portion.
Amen.
Those who have no personal relationship with you, and they are making up their mind today to surrender to you as their Lord and personal Savior, I pray also that you will forgive them their sins. You will wash them with your blood, and you will receive them as their child.
Amen.
Thank you, mighty God, as you bless this section and all those who have keyed into it. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
amen and amen.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Well, if you enjoyed the program, of course, you are not alone, because I did as well. In fact, if I had my way, if you checked, we had gone beyond the time this program was supposed to terminate. And if I had my way, I would let us carry on till 8 p.m. But of course, I know that we have other things that we needed to attend to. Well, I had a lot of fun on the program today. And for those of you who were not able to take your questions, those of our viewers who were able to take your questions, well, please bear with us because of time's sake. Next episode, we'll be able to attend to some of those questions. Well, it has been Future Scope, and of course, this has been the Greater Evangelism World Crusade, the Youth Virtual Interactive Session Program. Well, I had a good time, and of course, I've learned so much from the program. I hope that you have too. Well, on our next episode, we might likely have another host for the program, our brother, Great Man. Well, when he comes next episode, and of course, hopefully by God's grace, when he is the host, he will tell you why I am absent. But of course, I hope to be with you in spirit. My name is Itode Aaron, and it's been a great time with every one of you. Have a wonderful, lovely evening.